This is one of the most requested videos here, ever since I mentioned I have information about humans from machine elves. I must warn you that this might not be what you want to hear, and I would need you to keep an open mind about this information. It all checks out, and all of it connects to other messages I was given, but it is definitely not complete. I collected bits of very complex interdimensional uploads that took hours to transfer, so trying to explain it in a few minutes is really not easy. Before I explain, I want to thank all of my supporters for donations and for financing the 434 plan. You guys are amazing, and thanks to you, the 434 messages of love have a chance of reaching a lot of people soon. Those of you who would like to know more, please read the video description. You can support 434 through PayPal, Patreon, and Subscribestar. My knowledge about humans started from getting messages about how life here was created. Machine elves showed me 3D printing spaceships that came to Earth, and they showed me how they created the environment necessary for life here. All the life on Earth was created by bioprinting matter with information sent from distant universe. I was not shown who that was. I was told that Earth, and possibly its inhabitants, are an outdated and unused telecommunications beacon, an interdimensional transmission amplifier. It might be in physical or interdimensional sense. I do not know that. Those who created us did it as an experiment to create remote consciousness. What you experience as you is actually something sent into you from far, far away. And it is possible that it's humans that might be the telecommunication beacon amplifier and not Earth. Not all messages I get are complete, and they might be explained in the future. I was also told that we come here to rebalance and fine-tune our frequencies. We're here to recharge, and it's a small step on a long journey. Life on this planet for us is not too long, because the longer we stay here, the more we move away from what we're made of, and the more we get damaged by being immersed in the slow negative energy of this world. The older you are, the more experienced you are, and the more structured your perception mechanisms are, and the faster you process and create. That's why you feel life is happening faster. First steps are slow, but then you build the foundations and you leap much faster, and the information becomes much denser, and it is processed and delivered much faster. So I would like to tell you now about the first ever message that I received from the entities on magic mushrooms. I heard that this is the message that many people get, and apparently it's also always the first message they get on psychedelics. Here's what happened. I was shown a row of small squares on an 8-bit screen. It was as if you were playing a Commodore 64 game. And I was told that this is what humans look like. The concept was that humans are very primitive, they follow each other, they are not really anything complex. And when I heard this message, I asked, well, can you show me who you are? And this entity said, are you sure you want to see this? Because it might be overwhelming. And I said, yes, I'm ready, show me. And the moment I said that, this giant energy being revealed itself to me. And it was all made of loving energy. It had complex structure that was completely incomprehensible. It had energy tentacles that were going in every direction. It was so beautiful and so complex and so huge that us humans looked like nothing compared to it. And it gave me an idea of what we are and what our true nature is. The entity said that we are a very primitive life form, but it wasn't said in a disrespectful way. It just stated the fact. It told me about the place we have in the interdimensional catalog of life. But before I continue, I need to explain something to you, because the reason why I really liked the contact with this entity is because it was in line with what I feel when it comes to humans. See, I have a problem with humans, and it is a love and hate relationship. Since I was 5, I felt I'm incompatible with the human race. I struggled with this for 30 years until I left this reality thanks to psychedelics, and the entity confirmed what I had been feeling for so long. My struggle with humans started with me questioning the human form, and then learning at the age of 12 that I don't really deal with intelligent beings. Later on the same trip, I was taken to the dimension that I came originally from, and I was shown that although in a human form, I'm not really human. That's the reason why there's 47 of us in this reality. It's not about who can communicate with machine elves. That's not the only thing. The other thing is that some of us are not really human, even though we all share the same body. When I came back from my dimension, I was shown that there's a difference between humans and quote marks humans, or inverted commas humans. That's what they call the original inhabitants of this reality. I was shown a blue ocean of lost, confused, fearful spirits living here looking for guidance. And it is majority of this dimension. You can recognize quote mark humans by talking to them and discovering their physical limits in logical processing capabilities. This is something I've been seeing my whole life, and it was very frustrating until I realized that there is something physical about the limits of perception of those people. It is as if they have a physical firewall that doesn't let them escape their own limitations of their mind. And all of this was confirmed by machine elves. They said humans are like huge blocks of exposed flesh that we all should protect from injury and exposure to outside negative factors. We all should protect each other, and they said that my job here is to protect them. I would like to explain my relationship with humans a bit deeper, so I'm thinking about recording a separate video about this. There's something else that I haven't mentioned so far, and it is about my ability to talk to trees. It turns out trees have souls, and I will make a video about this, but they also told me a lot of things about humans, and one of those things was that we destroy nature. They showed me this in a very graphic way, and it wasn't a pleasant experience because they showed me how disruptive and disrespectful we are towards nature. Nature really doesn't like us. Earth is a living organism with trees and water and animals being its organs. Humans are a disease of this plane. We represent here bacterial colonies. They said, remember that you're all guests on Earth, and yet you come here, you make a mess, and then you just go away. And it is not a surprise. There are billions of people on Earth, and a big part of them need help. Most of us concentrate on selfish needs or negativity instead. But it's not just bad news. I was told that many of us are actually machine elves, aliens, or entities in the human form. Apparently, we're all entities. You're an entity that had decided to have this remote earthly experience. You decided to live in this frequency here. You're all out there, and now you're experiencing this love training ground simulation here. When you interact with humans here, you're interacting with their human form. You're all here what they call human players or human puppets. You're supposed to communicate with true form of existence in another dimension through prayer. And I'll talk about this in a separate video. There's another thing about machine elves and the human form, and that is that machine elves want to experience us as much as we want to experience them. They actually enjoy it very much because we're exotic to them. Sometimes they come to me and they ask me to do some things like taste something or to touch something that they've never felt before. Many people said that this is contradictory, that machine elves said that we're primitive, at the same time wanting to experience us. I just want to address this because if you think about our relationship with rats, for example, think about rats in New York subway, how we have no respect for them, how we dislike them and we think they're ugly. But then think about rats in laboratories and how much they've helped us. If you were given a chance to experience being a rat for a moment, wouldn't you want to do it? So going back to humans, I was told there's only one type of human personality in the world. We truly are one and everyone is you. The only difference is the environmental element of upbringing. That's what makes us different. Everyone here is on the same journey, the journey of love. Not everyone knows it, but they are. We're all love tripping here. We all came here for love. That's the only reason we're here, even if we don't know it. The only thing people want from you is love, even if they express it in the most annoying way. Love is so important because it moves us away from the primitiveness of this physical form required to harvest and cultivate love. Love gets us closer to what we really are out of this earthly realm. We all came here for one reason, looking for a loving connection with like-minded people. Through love, you will get access to everybody's database of experiences and knowledge. Remember that people have various forms and are all at different stages of life, no matter their age, gender, or race. Everyone has their own channel of communication that is made of who they are. Machine elves agree that being human is difficult. This is a training ground for love. We all come here to experience love, but it's all messed up here. But it's supposed to be like that because the difficulty of this reality is for you to learn to generate love despite the obstacles. And you do this through experiencing the adversities and contrast. Contrast allows you to isolate love. We should be all striving for it. We shouldn't be standing still in this life immersed in the human experience. We're all remote consciousness gathered together in a simulation arena, and we're all controlled by remote consciousness. But it is not easy to control this little primitive human player. It's difficult to control it, that's why our lives are so clumsy and so full of awkwardness. This training simulation is difficult for a reason, but it's not easy. So don't get angry that it's all messed up and upside down or that it doesn't work. It's because it is difficult to control it remotely. That's what I was told. They said, we're all lost and fragile. Don't think that anyone has it figured out. Some of us are just better actors, but after all, we're all humans in the simulation arena. That's the nature of this low-frequency, primitive human form existence. This training ground is a very primitive creation, but don't think of yourself as a human. Think of yourself as a remote entity with long spiritual arms controlling your human player form in this simulation arena. You're not human, you go somewhere else. That's your true existence. This here is just a simulation, training ground for love. They also said that people's consciousness is proportional to the amount of love they receive throughout life. The more love you receive, the more you learn. People who don't get to learn, or close-minded people, are those who did not receive enough love for these conditions to exist. I was told that the biggest superpower for humans are their minds. Your imagination has the power of rewriting your brain and changing you, and your ability to generate emotions lets you change your surroundings and your environment. I was told that a smart person is given the tools to distinguish between noise generated by primitive humans and facts, and actual valuable information generated by life and other smart people. I was told that humans move only within the realm of what they're familiar with. They usually don't venture outside those paths. If you show up and you expand their horizons, and if you show them new paths, they will go there. If you observe humans, you will witness them operating within limits of those realms. They might get good in venturing them, or they will get lost in their own world, but those are the only paths they know and have. And I was told that if I'm invited, my job will be to create new roads and new possibilities for movement for humans. They also said that being here as a human is incredible because you have been invited to take part in something very important and very unusual. It's an honor to be a part of this, so respect it. You're here for a reason, and it's a part of the plan. Humans shouldn't be disrespected for being humans. They're just primitive temporary forms of remote consciousness of a mighty entity from another dimension. Those who are brave and open-minded will be rewarded and will have access to additional sensations like psychedelics. Their lives will be fuller because of willingness to explore that which is out of the comfort zone. You're on different levels of development, but you're all exceptional and important. Love 434.